Welcome to Reviews That Scare with Jess and Blair. I'm Jess.
I'm Blair.
Blair, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good, man. How you doing today?
I am doing very well. Blairski, it was just your birthday this week.
That was, 2 days ago.
You got some pretty excellent gifts.
Yeah, I got a life-size Chucky doll and a Scream lava lamp. I don't know if you can see the lava lamp behind me or not, but
oh, excellent.
It's up. It's pretty sick, man. And it was a good day. It was a good birthday. It was relaxing, good food, drinks.
That's all you want in a birthday, hey?
That's it, man. Just a good day.
Another trip around the sun, as they say.
Yeah.
For old Blairski.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, goodness. I'm happy it was a good one. I'm doing well. It is our second episode in the month of July, a.k.a. Camp Eat Every Sandwich Month, a.k.a. Summertime Classics. And boy, oh boy, do we have a classic to review today. But before that, what do you say we chat a little bit about some horror news? Blairski, what do you got for horror news?
The Nun 2 trailer. It was released. Did you watch it?
I didn't. I had here that it was a first image. I didn't realize it was a trailer.
Yeah, Nun 2 trailer. It looks pretty good. It looks pretty good. Have you seen the original?
I have.
And what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I like it. I mean, I love the whole Conjuring series. I thought the very first Conjuring movie was one of the best horror movies in many years.
Yeah, it's pretty epic.
And I like The Nun. So I'm very excited for The Nun 2.
The first time I saw The Nun, which was in theaters, I did not really like it. Didn't really care for it.
Okay.
I did rewatch it, though, a couple years later at home, and I liked it a lot more.
It just needed a second viewing.
Yeah. So I don't know. The Nun 2 trailer, I did watch it. It does look pretty good.
I'll have to go and watch the trailer to add on to that. It also has a release date as well.
Oh, okay. When does it come out?
Currently slated September 8th, 2023. So 2 months away as of today.
And the Insidious The Red Door just came out into theaters.
Yeah.
Which is my last piece of horror news. I haven't seen it yet. It's not getting the best reviews from what I've read. Sitting at 6.1 out of 10 on IMDb and 47% on Rotten Tomatoes right now.
Ooh, 47%. Now, this is one that both you and I had seen the trailer for it. I feel like it was maybe before the newest Scream movie.
Yeah.
And neither of us were overly excited about it. We thought that the trailer, there was too much going on.
It looked confusing. Like the trailer itself looked confusing, let alone what the movie's going to be.
It's like if this 2-minute trailer, 3-minute trailer is confusing, how is this, 2-hour-long movie going to be? I'll probably still end up seeing it, but I don't know if I'll be, buying a ticket at the movie theater to see it.
I still have to watch the last Insidious movie, which I believe was called The Last Key.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one either.
And I don't even think I've seen the third one. I've only seen the first two Insidious movies. So
yeah,
I got to get
which
on
were
that
great.
shit.
I mean, the first two are great.
Yeah, they are.
Okay, great horror news. I have one more bit of horror news, and it is another release date announcement. Now, we talked about this film a while back when it was first announced, and then we chatted about it again after we saw the first trailer, and now we have an official release date, The Mean One.
Okay.
A horror movie based around the Grinch and Whoville, starring one of Blair's favorites, David Howard Thornton, a.k.a. Art the Clown, who will be playing the Grinch, will be released October 3rd.
And that's
video on demand.
Yeah, that's video on demand, right? Because I swear last year around Christmas time, it was showing in theaters.
Yeah, video on demand.
Theaters.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I am praying for a theatrical release. Also, kind of an odd time to be releasing a Christmas-based horror movie. Now, that's the thing. Horror movies are usually released in the summertime or around Halloween.
Yeah.
But I think this is, a good opportunity to be released around Christmas, no?
You'd think so, right?
I don't know. Definitely one I'm very excited to watch. The trailer made it look extremely ridiculous.
Yeah.
Which I love.
I expect it to be a lot along the lines of Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey.
One could only hope. Oh, goodness. That's the one piece of horror news I have. What do you say we jump right into this week's episode?
Yeah, man, let's do it.
Today, our second episode in Camp Eat Every Sandwich Month goes to 1987's The Lost Boys. This one running in at 1 hour, 37 minutes. Blairski, initial thoughts on the runtime?
Some would call that the perfect amount of time.
The meat and potatoes for run times.
Yeah, it's great.
Right in the pocket, right in the sweet spot. What about some fun facts? You want to kick this one off?
So the title of this movie is referred to the Lost Boys from Peter Pan.
Okay.
From J.M. Barrie's stories about Peter Pan and Neverland, who, like the vampires, never grow up.
Huh, interesting. I know that the initial thoughts on this movie was the first script, the characters were supposed to be a lot younger.
Even like more so than they are now.
Eh? Yeah, it was supposed to be very much like Goonies ages, like kind of 6 and 8 year olds. But the director, Joel Schumacher, wanted teenagers in the movie because he thought it would be sexier.
All right. I guess you could probably do more with older kids too. I
suppose so.
They have that sex scene with Star, and
they do.
And they would not have been able to do that if they were,
No, and you can't cut out that very sensual scene. Goodness gracious. What else you got for fun facts?
The movie was a critical and commercial success, grossing over $32 million against a budget of $8.5 million.
I would call that a success.
I would too. And it has spawned a franchise with 2 sequels, The Lost Boys, The Tribe, and The Lost Boys, The Thirst, as well as 2 comic book series.
Oh, cool.
So it's done pretty good for itself.
Yeah, not bad. Anything else for fun facts?
That's it. That's all I got.
I've got a couple here. This is the first film to star Corey Haim and Corey Feldman together, a.k.a. the 2 Coreys.
Mm-hmm.
They went on to star in numerous movies together, and I think for most of their lives, they were very, very close. Running around Hollywood, painting the town red, some might say.
I thought they had like their own reality TV show.
I think they did. Yeah, I think they both had. Yeah, they were. I think it was called The 2 Coreys.
Yeah, or like Corey and Corey or some shit like that.
Corey squared, something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. Apparently, the name Michael was used 118 times in the script.
I can see
that. Good name. Good, strong name. And then finally, every summer, The Lost Boys is shown on the Santa Monica boardwalk as a free movie for the public, which I think is great. Yeah,
that's really awesome.
I think that's lovely. Yeah. This one directed by Joel Schumacher, also directed 1985's St. Elmo's Fire, 2004's The Phantom of the Opera, 1997's Batman and Robin, 1995's Batman Forever, and the music video for arguably the greatest karaoke song of all time, 1995's Kiss from a Rose by Seal.
Great song.
Baby! Classic.
It's beautiful.
This one written by Jan Fisher, also wrote one episode of The Golden Girls entitled Diamond in the Rough, in which Blanche is bothered by her boyfriend's lack of polish and grace. That Blanche. Also written by James Jeremias, which this was the only writing credit I could find for him. But that's okay, because this one was great. And then finally, Jeffrey Boehm also wrote The Dead Zone, helped write Lethal Weapon 1, 2, and 3. And then finally helped write with George Lucas, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. That's pretty excellent.
That's a classic fucking movie.
Yeah. Great cast in this one. Started off Jason Patric as Michael, also started in 1997's Speed 2, Cruise Control, and in 2010's The Losers. Also starring Corey Haim as Sam, who starred in 1988's License to Drive, 1989's Dream a Little Dream, and in 2009's Crank High Voltage. R.I.P. to Corey Haim.
Yeah, right.
Also starring Kiefer Sutherland as David. Also starred in 1986's Stand By Me, 1988's Young Guns, 1993's Twin Peaks Fire Walk With Me, 195 episodes of the hit TV show 24, and as Second Lieutenant Jonathan Kendrick in Blair's second favorite Tom Cruise movie, second only to Cocktail, A Few Good Men. Also starring Corey Feldman as Edgar Frog. Also starred in 1986's Stand By Me, 1985's The Goonies, as Tommy in Friday the 13th, the final chapter. And Blair, you'll like this one. And I just found this out while doing research. And as the voice of Donatello in the live-action Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie.
Like the old one from like the early 90s?
Yeah.
No shit, I did not know
Didn't
that.
do the voice in the second one, but also did the voice in the third one, which is very, very cool.
So just not Secret of the Ooze.
No.
Which is the second one. Oh, that's crazy.
Arguably your favorite, correct?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. And then finally, Jamie Gertz as Star. Starred in 1996's Twister, 1984's 16 Candles, and in 88 episodes of Still Standing. Good cast in this one.
Yeah, I just realized that girl is from Twister.
Yeah, which is a great movie, and I believe is being remade this year.
I think they're doing a sequel to it.
A sequel, yeah. I'm excited about that. Synopsis, courtesy of IMDb. After moving to a new town, two brothers discover that the area is a haven for vampires. Yep.
That's it.
Pretty much.
That's all you need to say. Yeah.
Short and sweet. Yeah. This leads to one of our favorite segments, Kill Count.
Kill Count. The time of the show we count the kills.
Blairski, what do you got for Kill Count?
So I'm going to go with the List of Deaths fandom page. List the total kill count in this movie at 121.
121.
Yeah, right. But when reading through it, that's counting 68 animals, as well as 31 humans and 5 vampires. So what I think they're doing is they're counting like all the animals that are already killed and stuffed in their grandpa's house.
Oh, okay.
Like
that makes
all the
sense.
Taxidermy and shit.
In the Texas Chainsaw Massacre kitchen.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's what they list. Counting the movie, it's around 14 or 15.
Okay. I wonder if they're also counting all of the missing children's posters that are hanging up around the movie. I figured as much.
So every single missing person poster it shows, they're counting that as a death as well. I just counted the deaths you either see on screen or you see like the beginning of on screen. Like you see the people get attacked and taken away.
They happen during the actual
during the movie.
137 minutes, right?
Yeah.
I could see this one potentially up for an award come award time season for most kills, but we'll have to get into specifics on how many it has. But
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think 14 or 15. That's what I'm going to go with.
I think that's safe to say. This leads us to likes and dislikes, the part of the show where we talk about what we liked, what we didn't like, and everything in between. Blairski, you want to kick this one off?
I love how 80s this fucking movie is.
It is. It is a movie that you can tell exactly when it was made.
It's so 80s, man. It's so 80s.
Yeah.
And the set, like pretty much every different set in this movie, from the fairgrounds to the beaches to, it all kind of reminded me of something out of Mad Max. Or
I can see that.
Or like Escape from LA or something. It seemed very like dark and gothic, like everywhere in this movie. Especially
obviously the home they're living in, but also the lair for the vampires was very, very cool.
Yeah, just I don't even know where it was because it was like hidden in the mountains, like off a cliff by the beach. Fucking wild, man. I gotta say this right now. I absolutely love the saxophone party scene.
Okay.
It's so epic. So there's a game I play called Sea of Thieves. And one of the guys I've watched on Twitch, and I've watched some of his YouTube videos, he uses that scene in like all of his clips.
No way.
All of his clips, yeah. And I had never seen this movie before.
Yeah.
So it was nice to kind of see where that clip comes from.
Right, actually place it. Yeah. It's so weird, and it kind of comes out of nowhere, and it acts as kind of a brief scene where the character Michael first sees the character Star. They don't actually meet. But it feels awfully lengthy and ridiculous. But I think you could call this movie ridiculous as a whole. It was very just bizarre, but it adds to the charm of the movie for sure.
Rach was asking me if that was Fabio.
Well, I mean, he did have the wonderful hair.
To me, he kind of looked like the Heartbreak Kid.
Mr. Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, right.
Mr. Sweet Chin Music. Oh, goodness.
Love that scene. I thought the movie was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a very fun movie. I do wish they showed more of the kills on screen.
Yeah. Although the ones that they did show were pretty excellent.
Yeah, they were. They really were.
Two come to mind right away. There's a scene where Sam shoots a vampire in the chest with a bow and arrow. Which is very, very cool. And then there's another scene with a bathtub filled with holy water and garlic, which is also pretty excellent.
Yeah, it is awesome.
And the makeup is fantastic in this movie, but in that scene alone, it really shines.
It's very 80s makeup as well.
Yeah.
Very 80s soundtrack as well. And very 80s hair as well.
Yeah, I was going to say hair and costume. The music was very 80s, which you'll either love or you'll hate. There's a great cover of People Are Strange and a very synth-heavy version of Don't Let the Sun Go Down on You, written by Elton John, performed by Roger Daltrey of The Who during the closing credits, which is pretty fantastic. But the hair and the costumes, again, much like the music, they really date this movie to a specific time.
Yeah.
But I imagine in the 80s, it's like, oh my God, these guys look so cool. I mean, Kiefer Sutherland looks pretty excellent in this movie. He
looks pretty badass. Yeah.
He looks so cool. Yeah. I'm going to jump on top of that. You had mentioned that it's just a lot of fun. I thought it was great. I love comedy. I love horror. I love when they're combined. I thought the script was really, really funny. I thought that maybe a bit of the dialogue was goofy, but the acting really made up for it. I thought any scene that the Frog Brothers were in, especially Corey Feldman.
Oh my God, I have that as my next note.
They were hilarious. Corey Feldman was so good.
He was like bad good. Like he was so serious.
Yeah.
Like the way he talked, he was very fucking serious about being a vampire hunter.
He was kind of talking like someone who had just returned. I imagine somebody who had just returned from war and he had a little bit of PTSD.
Yeah.
Like he's seen some stuff, man.
Yeah, I've seen some stuff, man. You don't want to fuck with me, guy.
Yeah. His voice didn't act the look or the way the age he was portrayed.
No, not at all.
But he was so good. He was so good in this one. I honestly think he was probably my favorite character in this whole movie was Enter Frog. Yeah, so good. So good.
I have written here, I've never seen this movie before, so I did find it quite predictable because I knew from the very beginning that Max Lawrence was the head vampire. From the very beginning, I was like, oh, it's the mom's date. He's got to be it.
Yeah, it honestly, it narrows it down between two. I remember watching this and thinking, okay, it's either going to be Max or if you really want to throw a curveball, it's going to be Star as like the head.
See, I never thought of Star. Obviously, I thought of David.
Yeah.
To be the head, but I didn't think of Star.
I think David is obviously the predictable one. Max, who was also, he played the father in Richie Rich.
Okay.
Which is where I recognize him from, was very good in this movie as well.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
He was.
Can we talk about the glittery vampire blood?
Yes, of course we can.
So I remember when Twilight came out, everyone was talking about the shimmering or the sparkling vampires.
Yes.
And it's like, can we just rewind a bit and go back to 1987 when the Frog Brothers drive a stake through the vampire Marco's heart and are covered head to toe in not only blood, but glitter. It's like, wow, vampires, they do have glitter.
I
So
think
now-
in Twilight, though, I can't remember in Twilight if it's like their actual blood or if it's just them.
Their skin.
Their skin, yeah.
Yeah. I'm curious if the creators of Twilight took any inspiration from the Lost Boys with the sparkles.
I think so. Like, because when you're about to make a vampire movie, you're probably watching all the classic vampire movies.
I would think so.
You think, right?
Yeah. I loved, so I'm a huge coming of age movie fan. I love all the John Hughes movies. I love that stuff. So to add, I mean, this at the root of it is really a coming of age movie. And to add that, to add vampires to that, I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
What else have we got here? So I thought, and I had mentioned it before, I thought the script was really funny. There's one scene in particular where the Frog Brothers and Sam are preparing for the final showdown with the vampires by booby trapping the house a la Home Alone. And they sneak into the church in the middle of a baptism to borrow some holy water.
Yeah.
They just start filling. I thought that was so funny. And it's like the
awesome.
baptism just comes to a screeching halt and they're just filling up these like army regulation canteens with holy water. It was great.
Yeah, even though this was the first time I seen this movie, it felt very nostalgic to me.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like, there's certain movies like that, like Back to the Future for me is one.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
This movie had that feeling from the get-go. And I think it's because it was made around the time I was born.
Absolutely.
Know what I mean?
Yeah.
I loved it. I really liked it.
This is such a casual viewing movie, and you realize why it has such a cult following and why so many people love it. I like to explain it as like the perfect like cabin movie. Like if you have a TV in a cabin and it's a rainy day, this is the perfect movie to throw on because it's just so much fun. It's so light. It's so cool. It's excellent. Do you have any dislikes, any major dislikes to go along with this?
Not really. The only dislikes I have are ones I've already said. Just wish it showed more of the kills on the screen.
Yeah.
And it was a little predictable.
Yeah.
But other than that, it was a lot of fun. The movie's a lot of fun to watch.
It wasn't overly scary. There was a really cool scene when they're in the vampire's lair and they find kind of a secret off tunnel where they find all the vampires sleeping upside down, which I thought was really, really cool. But yeah, not a whole lot of dislikes on this one. It's a fun movie that I could watch over and over again.
Yeah, it's not like a great fucking movie, but it's fun. I can totally see why it's a cult classic.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What do you say we move right along to our next segment, which is lessons we learned from watching 1987's The Lost Boys.
Lessons we learned from watching. Insert title of movie here.
The segment of the show where we talk about the valuable life lessons we learned from watching said movie. Blairski, you want to kick this one off?
I've said this before on the pod, but don't give in to peer pressure.
Yeah.
If the people you're hanging out with are pressuring you to drink blood and jump off bridges, it's time to get a new group of friends.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't do it.
Don't do it. I also learned Corey Feldman must be the coolest and most serious vampire hunter the vampire universe has ever seen, next to only Blade and Van Helsing.
He's so cool. I heard
so
rumors.
cool, man.
I heard rumors that he was fired from this movie.
What?
Because he showed up one day, hungover from doing cocaine the entire night before. Corey Feldman in this movie is like, he can't be more than 15 years old.
Well, that's what I was about to say.
And again, who knows? That could just be Hollywood. That could just be rumors, or it could be, needless to say, thank God they kept him on board because he is the best part about this movie. He is so good. And he's so cool. His attire, his headband with his hair. He's so cool. So cool.
It looks like it's that guy from is it Cobra Kai I'm thinking of?
Ralph Macchio? Is that
Possibly
who you're thinking?
with the red bandana.
Well, he's. I haven't seen Cobra Kai, but I immediately thought like the Karate Kid.
That's okay. That's what I'm thinking. Karate
Ralph
Kid.
Macchio.
Yeah.
I'll talk about that later in Celebrity Lookalike
Okay.
time.
All right. Awesome.
Do you got any more lessons you learned?
I think that was it. Yes, that was it.
I've got a couple here. If you've got a hot date and you're looking for a nice, inexpensive alternative to cologne to impress said date, try Windex.
It's so fucking random.
Yeah, the grandpa uses it and it works.
Yeah.
Got another one here. If you were going to kill a vampire by pushing them into a bathtub filled to the brim with garlic and holy water, it is recommended that you do not use your own bathtub, as vampires will wreak havoc on your plumbing.
Yeah.
And then finally, I have never invite a vampire into your home, as it will render you powerless. Which is, of course, why Max gets away with, eating raw garlic and being splashed with holy water and such. This leads to one of our favorite segments, which is Line of the Night.
Line of the night. Line of the night. Line of the night. Line of the night. Line of the night. Line of the night. Line of the night. Line of the night. Line of the night.
The segment of the show where we discuss our favorite lines from the movie. They might give us chills. They might give us the giggles. All we know is that they are our favorites. Blairski, you want to kick off Line of the Night?
All right. My first line of the night is said by Sam. Okay. And his mom calls wanting to talk to Michael, but Michael's still sleeping in bed. So Sam goes in there and wakes him up and passes the phone saying his mom's on and wants to talk to him. Michael puts on his sunglasses because this is the day after he started turning into a vampire. Right. And then Sam says, "You need sunglasses to talk on the phone? Are you freebasing, Michael? Inquiring minds want to know," which I thought was pretty funny.
Goodness.
My last two lines are both said by Edgar Frog.
Okay.
Of course, Corey Feldman, who had some of the best one-liners in this movie.
Yeah, yeah.
So there's a scene when he sees the group of vampires and he says, "Great, it's the blood-sucking Brady Bunch."
I missed that one. That's great.
Which I thought was great. The next one I have is a scene where they're in the comic book store.
Yeah.
And Edgar is trying to explain to him that him and his brother are vampire hunters.
Yeah.
And then he goes, "This is just a cover. We're dedicated to a higher purpose. We're fighters for truth, justice, and the American way."
And the American way. Yeah.
And it's
what
just
a great line.
It's just the way he says it. He's so serious about his vampire hunting.
That is a tagline you put on the poster. That is such a great line.
So
We're
good,
fighters for truth, justice, and the American way.
He says it just like that.
Yeah. So good.
Oh, man. What you got?
I've got a couple here. Grandpa, after the boys ask him if Santa Carla is really the murder capital of the world, says, "Well, now let me put it this way. If all the corpses buried around here were to stand up all at once, we'd have one hell of a population problem." Mm-hmm. I've got one from Edgar Frog. He says, "You better get yourself a garlic t-shirt, buddy, or it's your funeral."
That was
Which I thought was awesome. Yeah. Sam, after shooting an arrow into a vampire, causing them to be electrocuted by a giant speaker, says, "Death by stereo," which is so great. And then finally, which is possibly the best last line of any movie, when Grandpa says, "One thing about living in Santa Carla, I could never much stomach all the damn vampires." So he knew about the vampires all along.
And then roll credits. Yeah.
Roll credits. Yeah. I love that. I love that so
all
much.
Of those are great lines. All of them.
A lot of, and we missed a bunch as well. There was this script was a lot of fun. This leads to our final segment. Some might call it our favorites. I know we certainly will, which is Celebrity Lookalike Time.
Celebrity Lookalike Time.
The time of the show where we take a look at the cast to discuss their celebrity doppelgangers. Spoiler alert, it usually comes down to the character's hairstyle. Blairski, you want to kick off Celebrity Lookalike Time?
Both of mine are coming down to the hairstyle.
Okay.
David Powers, of course, played by Kiefer Sutherland,
Yep.
reminded me of a young Billy Idol.
Yeah.
And again, it's because of the hair, for
Yeah.
sure.
White Wedding. All right.
And this one might be in bad taste, but the character Michael, especially after he starts turning into a vampire and is always wearing his sunglasses,
Mhm.
reminded me of infamous serial killer Richard Ramirez,
Okay. The Night Stalker.
also known as the Night Stalker. And that had a lot to do with the hair, the black, curly, longer hair,
Yeah.
and the shades on all the time.
The shades, maybe the sunken face a little bit,
Yeah.
the makeup. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I could see that for sure. It's very much an 80s hairstyle.
Very
yeah.
much so, right?
I've got two here. Dwayne, one of the vampires, reminded me of the lead singer from Dead or Alive. They sang the song Spin Me Round.
Great song.
Like a record, baby. Yeah, definitely a great song. And then finally, the character Alan Frog, the brother to Corey Feldman's character, reminded me of Karate Kid himself, Mr. Ralph Macchio.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Either one of them. I mean, it's the hair, it's that kind of that time period, but
The bandana.
either one of them could have been, a Ralph Macchio lookalike.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, goodness. This leads to our final rating for 1987's The Lost Boys. Blairski, out of 5 steamy, shirtless saxophone solos, what do you give The Lost Boys?
I'm going to be giving The Lost Boys 3.5 steamy, shirtless saxophone solos out of 5.
Great rating. I'm going to rate this one a little bit higher. I'm going to give it 4 steamy, shirtless saxophone solos out of 5. This movie is fun.
I'm glad I finally got to see it.
Yeah, completely different than the last movie we watched. Hey?
Totally different, yes.
Yeah, lots of fun. I'm very excited for the next couple movies that we're going to be reviewing this month. I was excited to watch this one, another great classic. But for Review Set Scare with Jess and Blair, I'm Jess.
And I'm Blair. Remember to stay scary.
And eat every sandwich. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Review Set Scare. Make sure you check out our Linktree at linktree/reviewsetscare. That's linktr.ee/reviewsetscare, which has links to our Instagram, YouTube, Patreon, Twitch, and many other things. If you'd like to email us, you can reach us at reviewsetscare@gmail.com. Thanks for listening, and remember to stay scary and eat every sandwich.